Listen with me as we make some tapestry pants and talk about old money fashion brands. So, when we think fashion, especially luxury fashion or Paris fashion to be more specific, we think about Chanel, Givenchy, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Hermes, Prada, Fendi, all the names, right? But just how old are these brands? When did they start? What were their first products? And who were buying these products? I mean, some of these brands were old enough to be around during the Gilded Age. Were like the Carnegies always their customers? Or how did they transform into the old money fashion brand aesthetic that we think of them as today? Okay, first things first with the tapestry pants, we're going to cut out the pants with the fabric, whatever kind you use. And right now we're just doing freehand, no pattern. So these are some jeans that I want to be about the fit of the pants. You're going to cut this 4 times so that you can get 2 sides for the left and the right side of the pants legs. Now, back to the story. So we're going to start with the very first brand, and that is, believe it or not, Hermes. Hermes was launched in 1837, and it is the oldest classic fashion brand that we have today. So if you thought Birkins just popped on the scene and they just became expensive and exclusive, you would be absolutely completely wrong. But Hermes did not start as a leather goods company like how we think of it as today with Birkin bags and scarves and all the extra stuff, right? Hermes actually started as a saddlebag company. They made leather goods and products for horses. So like quite literally horse saddles and saddlebags for equestrians and people that worked with horses, which in 1837 was everybody. In the 1920s, the grandson of the Hermes founder got the patent for zippers after a visit he had to Canada, where he saw zippers being used on military grade like uniforms and materials and stuff like that. He got the patent and quite literally put the first zipper on leather goods. And that's where they started getting into other goods outside of like equestrian and saddlebag products. The classic Hermes bags that we think of today actually were like reinvented from original saddlebags from the 1830s up until the 20s, that whole time period. The first Hermes bag was named the Bugatti. Later on in 1956, it was redesigned and renamed the Kelly bag after the famous actress Grace Kelly, later the Princess of Monaco. The classic Birkin came in 1987, and this, like the Kelly bag, was named after actress Jane Birkin and completely designed and customized to fit her needs. Back to the pants. Okay, so once you cut out all 4 of your pieces, you're going to quite literally sew the back and front side of both of those together. You're going to make sure that you don't sew all the way up on both sides. You want to leave some space on the inner seams or like the inner sides, and that's where, obviously like your zipper or your drawstring will sit. Okay, next up is Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton was started in 1854. Like Hermes, Louis Vuitton did not start making bags and couture. They started out quite literally as a leather goods company as well, but unlike Hermes, they didn't sell saddle and equestrian wear. They sold luggage. Also, like Hermes, in 1888, Louis Vuitton developed a patent for the tumbler lock, which revolutionized luggage and launched the brand even further. Once you're done sewing the legs, as you can see here, this is what the inside looks like reversed. Then on to the next leg. In the 19th century, one of the grandsons of the Louis Vuitton founder developed the LV monogram that we associate with the brand today. And in 1915, Louis Vuitton developed their first leather good that was not luggage. That was the leather handbag, and they made it for none other than Coco Chanel. Which leads us right into our next brand. Chanel is the 3rd brand on the list. The brand was established in 1910. Chanel also didn't start with bags or perfume or ready to wear. Chanel started as a milliner, so with hats. Later on in 1913, Chanel developed her classic jersey fabric that she used for ready-to-wear projects for women. In 1915, she opened her haute couture in Paris. In 1921, she developed Chanel No. 5 perfume. And it wasn't until 1955 that Chanel developed her very own classic quilted bag. Now, up until this time, Hermes, Louis Vuitton, and Chanel, the top 3 oldest brands, have all been established in Paris. Number 4 on the list was established in Italy, and that would be Prada. In 1913, Prada was established as a leather goods company like Hermes and Louis Vuitton. Balenciaga comes next at number 5. They were established as a haute couture in Spain in 1917. Back to Italy with number 6, Gucci was started in 1921. They were a leather bags and equestrian company, so following Hermes and Louis Vuitton. Fendi was also established in Italy in 1925. They developed fur and leather goods, but not handbags. And all the other brands were started after in like the 30s, 40s, and 50s. These designers got their name quite literally working in the fashion houses of the other, like Givenchy, Dior, YSL, etc. So did all these brands start at the top? The answer is yes. Each of the brand founders were true craftsmen, and their work spoke for itself and was always highly favored and sought after. The poor weren't buying Gucci saddlebags. Now that you have 2 legs sewn together, you should get something like this. The last part is the zipper or the drawstring. For me, I decided on this drawstring, so what I did was I cut out with the fabric like a large piece that I sewed onto like the top of the pants, like on the inside with the stitching. Then I went back to the fabric and cut out a piece that was a little longer than the length of the piece that I just cut out. To make the strings, you take that piece and you lay it inside the fabric that you sewed onto the pants, and then you sew that over. And this is the final result.